China's President Xi Jinping has told his North Korean counterpart Kim Jong Un that he wants to take bilateral relations to, quotes, new heights. Mr. Xi arrived in North Korea for a two-day visit, his first for 7 years. He's previously hailed what he called an invincible friendship between the two nations, saying they would work together to safeguard a fair and just global order. Well, Stephen McDonnell is our China correspondent in Beijing and Jake Kwan is our correspondent in Seoul. They both joined me earlier for more on what might come from this visit.
What China wants to do is to bring North Korea back close to it again. And people might wonder why that might be. I mean, aren't they supposed to be the best of friends? Didn't they fight side by side in the Korean War? Aren't they communist brothers and what have you? Well, in recent times, North Korea has been moving much closer to Russia. North Korean soldiers have fought and died on the Russian side in the Ukraine war. Economically, North Korea and Russia are also much more interlinked. And so China will be wanting to remind North Korea that, come on, we really are the important actor here. And, as an indication of just how, not normal their relationship has been of late, it's only been recent months that flights and trains have resumed, those connections have resumed from China into North Korea. Not lots of tourists yet. It's mostly students and academics and the like, and some business people. But, they'll be trying to get those wheels going back again. However, people should remember that China, despite all the smiles, despite all the overt signals of friendship, gets very frustrated with North Korea. The Chinese government seems to really worry about the destabilizing nature of the government there at times with missile tests. And it puts up with all of that, basically because it wants to have a buffer state in between South Korea and its border, because if the Korean Peninsula was ever unified with South Korea dominating, well, that could mean US troops on the border. And so for that reason, China puts up with a lot of, what it would say is sort of nonsense from the North Korean government. So it has to go there and say, come on, we're mates, we're close communist brothers again. And also, like I say, to especially counter the influence of Russia in North Korea.
And Jake Kwan in Seoul, obviously this trip will be being closely followed in South Korea.
It certainly is, and Seoul is hoping that Xi Jinping will play a bit of a mediator so that they can nudge Pyongyang towards opening up the dialogue with South Korea as well as Washington. North Korea has been freezing out these two countries, refusing to talk with them while they're focusing their efforts in strengthening their ties with Beijing and Moscow. And for Pyongyang too, having Xi Jinping in North Korea is a propaganda coup. Here's one of the world's most important leaders coming to see their leader. And for Kim Jong Un, it is a chance to really show off how powerful he has become since the last time Xi Jinping was there in 2019. Kim Jong Un now has a new friend in Moscow. He also has more sophisticated missile and nuclear program. And he is not only flaunting this power, but using it as a leverage to win concessions out of the Chinese. His lifeline is the trade with China, so he's expected to ask Xi Jinping for more trade with China that will strengthen its economy, as well as asking for more Chinese tourists to come and visit North Korea to fill the ski and beach resorts that he's been building over the years. So when Xi Jinping comes to Pyongyang, he is going to face a leader who is more confident than ever.